You liberals like to accuse we conservatives of wanting hanging judges. I do.
You do?
I want tough laws. I want them to be enforced.
You can actually trace it all the way back to segregationists.
We have 5% of the world's population, 25% of the world's prison population.
One of my commissioners said to me that there's not a flat surface out here that we don't have somebody sleeping on.
Well, I suppose if you look at the raw numbers, one might conclude that Philadelphia prisons are overcrowded.
A person who's been convicted of a felony actually enters into a parallel social universe. You're relegated to a permanent second-class status for life. So many of the old forms of discrimination that we supposedly left behind during the Jim Crow era are suddenly legal again once you've been branded a felon.
Property crimes went down just a tick, violent crimes went up just a tick, but the prison populations have gone up over 500–600%.
Back in the 1950s, factories were typically located in those urban communities, so those businesses would have quick access to cheap labor. Today, those factories are gone.
My family wanted to visit me when I was incarcerated, but me myself, I didn't want them to.
Yeah.
So I just told them to stay home, maintain their regular lives. I don't want to be a burden on nobody else. You know, my situations, my mistakes.
The Philadelphia prisons turns out to be an institution that reaches almost every neighborhood and every family. It shouldn't be like that. And why is that? Well, since we've relied so much on a punitive response to social problems, people go to prison, and guess what? Now they're back. They're back in the same communities, only it's a worse time.
Sentencing Project in Washington, D.C. has done a number of studies. 1 in 4 African Americans in their 20s are subject to some kind of supervision from the criminal justice system.
In fact, in the United States today, there are more African Americans under correctional control, in prison or jail, on probation or parole, than were enslaved in 1850, a decade before the Civil War began.
We're going to need to see a new civil rights type movement. We're going to need to see more and more people joining together to challenge some of these institutions.
Let us believe that we can stop money from going into jails across this country.
Enough's enough. We know it's going to be hard. We know it's going to be resistance. But power concedes nothing without a struggle.
The most important thing is to understand the conditions that create prisoners in prisons. Understanding the society that we live in, that's where change starts.
They say criminals should be locked in prison, but they living in a big house that's white. It's not right. We gotta fight. They don't lock up corporate criminals that ruin the planet. Jails filled with nonviolent offenders, and it's tragic. Where's the rehabilitation or correction?